It was a quiet Friday night at the local KFC, just before closing time. The restaurant was empty, and the only sound was the steady hum of the appliances and the occasional creak of the ceiling fan. The last shift was always slow, and with just 15 minutes left until midnight, everything seemed normal. The kitchen was cleaned, the fryers had been turned off, and the chairs were neatly stacked. Suddenly, the lights flickered. It was just for a second, but it was enough to catch attention. The power wasn't supposed to go out this early. Everything was still on. A quick glance at the lights confirmed they were back to normal, but the air inside the restaurant felt different. It had grown colder, despite the fryers being off for hours. The chill in the air made the hairs on the back of the neck stand up. Then came the first strange sound. A faint, rhythmic thudding echoed from the dining area. At first, it was soft, almost like someone tapping on the window. But the sound grew louder, more insistent, as if someone was knocking to be let in. The restaurant's doors were locked, and no one had been in for over an hour. A quick check of the front windows revealed nothing. The parking lot outside was empty, and the streets were deserted. The thudding stopped, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. But just as things started to feel calm again, a loud clatter echoed from the kitchen. It sounded like one of the pots or pans had fallen off the shelf, but everything had been packed away neatly just a few minutes earlier. A cautious step towards the kitchen revealed nothing unusual. No pots on the floor, nothing out of place. Yet the feeling of being watched was unmistakable. The kitchen was too quiet, and the shadows seemed darker than usual, almost like they were moving on their own. That's when the fryer, which had been turned off, suddenly made a bubbling sound. A glance over confirmed the fryer was off, but the bubbling noise continued, louder and louder. It was impossible to ignore now, and with each passing second, it became more intense. The bubbling was joined by a faint, ghostly whisper, coming from somewhere deep within the kitchen. The words were impossible to make out, but they sounded desperate, pleading, as if someone or something was trying to speak from beyond. Suddenly, the freezer door swung open with a loud creak. A blast of cold air rushed out, far colder than it should have been. The mist from the freezer filled the kitchen, swirling into strange shapes in the dim light. The whispering grew louder, almost as if the voice was standing right behind, but when the room was turned to, no one was there. The urge to leave became overwhelming. The clock was ticking closer to midnight, and the shift was almost over. But staying even a minute longer felt impossible. Every corner of the restaurant seemed alive with shadows, the cold air thick with the sensation of something unseen watching from the darkness. Just as the decision to leave was made, the lights flickered again, this time staying off for several seconds. In the pitch-black darkness, there was a single unmistakable sound, a soft, eerie voice that whispered, "Don't go." The lights flickered back on, and everything seemed normal again. The fryer was silent, the freezer door was closed, and the restaurant stood still, as if nothing had happened. But the sense of dread remained. The clock struck midnight, signaling the end of the shift. The doors were quickly locked, and the lights were turned off. But as the restaurant was left behind, there was one final glance through the glass windows, and there, standing just inside the darkened kitchen, was a shadowy figure, barely visible in the faint glow of the streetlights outside. The next morning, the restaurant was quiet as usual. No one mentioned anything strange. But every night after that, during the late shift, there was always a sense of something lingering in the dark corners of the restaurant, waiting for the next person to work the midnight shift. Thanks for watching this video, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.